right, looks like we are live. Welcome everybody. Welcome to my live stream. It's been a while since I've done one of these. I'm happy to be back. Let's make sure we get everything up and running here, and then we will be on our way. All right. So glad to see so many of you popping in. Great to have you all here. Just making sure I can see all of your comments everywhere that I am. And the one place I'm not seeing yet is Facebook. Let's just go to the right spot here. All right. Hey, William. Hey, Ahmed. Hey, Colleen. Long time no see. And let's just make sure we can see it. And then I can be on with the topic. There it is. Okay. Alrighty. I see everything about the comments now. Hang on, guys. Sorry. New Facebook interface as usual. Leaving a little bit to be desired. So I'm full screen on my screen, but I don't see any comments. See if I can get out of that. Lots of people coming in. All right, let's do it this way. By the way, if you get invited to the new Facebook interface, run, decline. There we go. Okay, I'm seeing comments now. All right, so once again, thanks everyone for being here on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon. I see you all coming in. David Levin, Karsten, Miroslav, Krimmer. Hopefully I'm saying that right. And a bunch of folks over on YouTube and some folks over on Twitter. Thanks for being here and checking out my my live stream after being on vacation. So I was on vacation last week, so that's why I didn't stream. I took kind of an extended Thanksgiving and I needed the break. So I'm back live in front of you now, so we get to dive in and see some new stuff. So with that said, David finally sold the lens that I sold him long ago. Glad you got the updated version. So with that said, we're going to take a look at a new update that just came out this week for Lightroom on iOS. So what this update allows you to do is it allows you to go in and import images directly. You could always import images from a memory card to your iOS device, whether it was iPhone or iPad, but you had to do it via the camera roll. In other words, you plugged in a card, iOS's camera import comes up first, you pick the images you wanted to import, they import to the camera roll, you get out of that, then you go to Lightroom and import from there. Well, that all went away this week because of a couple of things. First of all, iOS 13 now lets developers bypass that whole thing. And of course, the great folks on the Lightroom team were one of the first to want to bypass that. So now we can import directly. And so what does that mean? That means that if you shot with a regular camera, a DSLR, mirrorless, you shot in RAW, you shot in JPEG, whatever it was you shot or photographed, you were able to now bring those images, plug in a card, plug in your camera, whatever it is, and bring those images directly into Lightroom. And then they sync, of course, the next time you have an internet connection. So if you're out in the middle of nowhere, no internet connection, no 4G connection, you can just take a mobile device with you now, like an iPad or iPhone, provided you got enough space on those devices. Plug in your camera, plug in a card reader, whatever it is, and then import directly into Lightroom and start working in Lightroom immediately. No need to go back to the camera roll and delete to clear up space. No need to do any of that. It just works directly. All right, so with that said, great to see you too, Barb. With that said, I've got my handy dandy iPad Pro here. I'm going to go ahead and open it first, and I'll switch over to where you should be able to see it now. Let's do that, and now you should be able to see it. I've also got, I'm not gonna risk disconnecting it, but I'll show you a second one I've got here. I've also, since my iPad Pro is USB-C, I've got a USB-C hub just like this one plugged into it. So it's got my video connection on HDMI, so I can connect to the system so you guys can see the stream. It's got some regular USB ports, so if you needed to plug in a standard card reader like for XQD cards or QXD cards, however that's pronounced, or compact flash or some other thing besides SD or micro SD, or you can plug micro SD or SD directly into this. It's also even got Ethernet on it. So if you want to use one of these similar devices, I've got a link to it over on my blog at terrywhite.com. As a matter of fact, I just did a blog post today mentioning this item. So if you want to head over there and get a link to it, you can do that. If you have an older device that doesn't have USB-C, you've got something like an iPhone or one of the older iPads, then it has a Lightning port on it. And Apple makes 2 Lightning adapters. You can use either one. You can use the one that is an SD card reader. So it just plugs right into your Lightning port. It's got an SD card reader on the other end. Or they make one that's got a standard USB port on it. So like if you're using something besides SD or micro SD and you don't have an adapter, you can plug in another card reader directly into it and do the same thing I'm about to show you on an iPhone. So iPad Pro, USB-C, older iPads or non-new iPad Pros, Lightning or iPhone's Lightning. There's a way to do it no matter what the device is. So I've got a memory card right here. It's an SD memory card. But first I'm going to go ahead and launch Lightroom. So I've got Lightroom open now, and I'm going to try and juggle this so I can plug the card in. So I'm taking the card, I'm plugging it into the card reader, trying not to disconnect anything along the way. And if I can get that in there, I just plugged it in, and it pops up with this new message. I've detected a device. Do you want to continue? Yes, I do. And once I hit continue, that will start to show me what's on that card. And it's giving me a little thing saying I can pinch to zoom in and out. But as you can see, it's bringing them in. Well, not bringing them in, it's showing them to me. And it's showing me in the upper right-hand corner, I don't know if you see that little tag there, it's showing it to me that these are raw. So George is saying, please show us how to put the new update on. It's like any iOS update. You just go to the App Store and click update. There's nothing else to do. Oh, hang on. I lost that connection there. That's what I was afraid of with this cable. But anyway, there it is. They're coming up, and now I could go through and pick and choose which ones I want. Now you'll notice in the upper left-hand corner, there's a date, and that's the date for that particular shoot. Then it goes to the next date on the card, which is in February. So you can say, hey, I want everything from the 4th of July, and just tap the little check mark there, and it would enable everything. Or you can say, no, I don't need everything. I want that photo of the nice couple there walking on the beach. Ooh, that's a nice one there with them above the sun above their head. Oh, I want that one too. And then you could just go through and randomly pick the ones you want, or strategically pick the ones you want. Once you do that, you will then get the ability to just hit import, and it will import those 4 photos and put them in your all photos. Now, one thing I neglected to say is that you can build an album or select an album right there on the spot as well. So it said 4 got copied. Do I want to keep the ones on the card? Yes, I do, as a backup. But let me show you one more thing, that instead of importing them to the all photos, which all images will end up there, I can also say, let's import them to a new album. So I can import them into a new album, and I can say that this is the, what do we want to call this? This is the 12/11. Is that the date today? We'll do the 12/11 album. That's what we'll call it, so we know that one's new. All right, so we'll create the 12/11 album, and again, I can pick some different ones. Let's just grab all 4 of these, or 5 of these, or how many ever you want. Import. Now the difference is it will still put them in the all photos because that's where all photos go. But these 4 or 5 that I'm adding will go straight to the album that I just created as well. So I'll just say import. And again, that speed of the import will be the speed of your connection. So in this case, USB-C is really quick. And now it's even telling me I can safely disconnect my device. I'm not going to disconnect the cable, but anyway, I'm going to go ahead and close out of the import. And if I scroll down, there's my 1211 album with the images that I just brought in. Now, if I go back to all photos, I should see, oh, they're by date, so I don't know where they are. Those are older photos from July 4th. I have to scroll down to July 4th and find them, or I could just go to recently added, and there they are. Those are the ones that I just added both times. So I can say that I want to select, because I want to add the ones that I selected, I imported first, and I want to add them to that same 1211 album that we just created. All right, so I did that kind of backwards, meaning I would have normally done all that at once. I wouldn't have had to do 2 imports, but I thought it was important to show you that you can create the album on the fly so that you don't have to do all that after the fact. And all I did was take the first 4 and move them into that album that the last 5 were imported in. So now I have all 9 images in the same spot. Now at this point, it's syncing. So it's syncing, it's uploading those raw files to my Creative Cloud because I'm on the internet. And as a matter of fact, I'm on the internet with Ethernet, so it's pretty quick. But if I were not on the internet, or if I didn't have Wi-Fi, I didn't have 4G, I didn't have anything, it would still do it. It would just do it when you connect. So the next time you connect to the internet, those images would be synced up. Now, what does that mean when we say they're syncing up? Well, it's syncing the actual raw files, the original file, not a copy, not a JPEG, not something smaller, not a smart preview. It's syncing the actual file up to Creative Cloud, and therefore now it's on all my devices. So if I were to launch Lightroom on my desktop, it would be those 9 images, new images would be there. If I were to launch Lightroom Classic even on my desktop, those 9 images would sync down to Lightroom Classic, provided that I have sync turned on. And in either case, whether it's Lightroom, the newer one for the cloud-based one, or Lightroom Classic, it would sync the raw files down. All right, now, I'm still out in the field, let's say. I'm still out and about. I did not go home yet or go back to the office yet. Because they're here and because they're the real ones, they're the real actual images, I can do anything that I would normally do. So for example, I can go to this photo, I can look at it and say, oh, that's cute. Couple on the pier there. This Victoria shot these for me. Let's go back to the editing. There we go. And I can start doing my editing. So I can say, well, the first thing I don't like is that horizon is a bit crooked. Even though they look like they're perfectly straight up and down, maybe I'll keep the horizon the way it is, even though I don't like horizons that are crooked, but they look so perfectly straight. Let me try it. Let me go to crop, and let's just rotate that. Oh, maybe I do like it straight. Okay, I like it straight. All right, so let's make it straight the way I normally would. And then we'll go back, we'll say we're done with that. We'll go back and I can do a profile. So I can browse my profiles. And because these are raw files, it's even bringing up my raw profile. So these were Adobe, I want to use Adobe Vivid on these. I like a nice Vivid image, my favorite raw profile. I can even say, hey, I don't want to start from scratch with all these sliders. Let's hit auto and have it auto adjust the image based on what it thinks it should do. And using Adobe Sensei, I still have all my sliders to do anything else I want to do. But that gave me a great starting point, picking the profile and hitting auto. Now, if I still want to say, make the exposure darker, make the exposure lighter, do anything that I want to do to this image, I can. And of course, all of this is non-destructive. So no matter what edits I do, it's just metadata, and these edits are carried over and synced over to the desktop as well. So anything I want to go change, I can go change. So next thing I would want to do is maybe perhaps look at the effects and maybe apply a slight dehaze to this just to bring out those clouds a bit more. But if I go too far on the dehaze, it will go too far on the dehaze. So maybe I just want a slight dehaze over the whole image, but then I want to go in and apply a selective adjustment to the rest. So for example, I have my selective adjustments. I've got linear, brush, and radial. So I'm going to do a new linear adjustment, and I'll just pull it down from the top. There we go, like that. And now I've got just that one adjustment for the sky, and I can go into my effects. Oh, there we go, and add a little dehaze. I can add more dehaze just to the sky without affecting or wrecking the rest of the image. All right, there we go. So now I see there's, I don't know if those are little people on the left-hand side because they're so far away, or those 3 little sticks or whatever that is sticking up all the way on the left-hand side. I kind of want to get rid of that. So we'll say we're done with that adjustment. We'll go to the healing brush. We can zoom in. I can see that those are, in fact, people. I can take my Apple Pencil, for example, and I can then just go in and brush away those people. All right. Get rid of those distracting elements. Oops, I didn't quite do that the way I should. Hang on, that needs to come up a little bit more. Because it's non-destructive, I can keep messing with it until I get it just right. There we go, that looks better. I think that's gonna look better. So we're done, yep, that looks better. Zoom out, I can see anything else I wanna take care of. I don't know what that is. It's just some grass or seaweed growing in the water there. So again, I can take that same healing brush and patch all of that out. I can make the healing brush smaller and just paint all of that out as well. And so basically what I'm trying to say is I am doing the same things I would do on my iPad as I go, as opposed to having to wait till I get back to my computer to do these things, because I've imported my raw files. I'm working with the raw files. I'm in Lightroom doing the same things I would do on the desktop, and I didn't have to bring a laptop. I didn't have to bring anything else other than a mobile device. And I could have even done this on my phone. So you have the ability to do that. Yes, finally available feature on Twitter. I can't see your name because it's small, but yes, I agree. Finally available. Again, you say finally available, but we had to wait for Apple to let this happen in iOS 13 because they control the OS, or iPad OS 13. All right, so, and just keep going, whatever else it is you want to do. So now at this point, if I wanted to say, ooh, I really like what I've done to this image, I'm going to go ahead and flag it as a pick, or maybe mark it as 5 stars. I've done that. So that way I'll know which one it is that I've been messing with. I could always go back to the other ones, and I can see how much of a difference that one makes right off the bat. One of the other new things that's kind of cool is you can go in and you can now, let's just see here. Just want to see how I would do this. There we go. I just want to see if I can go, no, I think I got to go back here and do it. Hold on for a second. Let's go here. Select that one. There we go. So now I just selected that one image I've already edited. And you notice at the very bottom now, I get the ability to hit copy. That will copy the adjustments. So now that those settings have been applied, I can go select across all of those. Not that one, and that one. And I can hit paste. So I can paste those adjustments. That's another kind of new feature they snuck in along the way, that you can paste the same adjustment to multiple photos, even on mobile now. So it's doing that, it's loading all the previews, it's doing its thing, it's rendering it out. So now I can adjust one photo and apply that quickly to all the rest. Now it won't apply the removing the distractions because those distractions don't appear on all the images. So it won't apply the clone stamp stuff, but it applied everything else that I've done. So now I can say done. And at this point, I got my workflow done. I can do my selects. I can do my organization. I can get rid of the bad ones. I can edit a few. Once I'm done, I can share the ones I want to edit, or I edit it and share them on social media. And I can do that all from my mobile devices. So all from either my phone or my iPad. All right, so now let's say I wanted to share that one. I've got my share icon here. And the other thing that's new in this version is more choices for the export. Before you were kind of limited, especially on mobile, as to what you could do. Now you'll notice that there's the original, same that we used to, the share sheet that comes up, the export to camera roll, that's all still there. But now at the very bottom, there's an export as. And when you do the export as, that just gives you all your settings for all the stuff that you would want to export out or not export out. So maybe I want the camera raw or camera and camera info, or maybe I don't. I want to include the metadata. My copyright is always included. The file name is going to stay the same. Maybe I want to mess with the color space. I'm going to keep it on sRGB, but I could do that. I can include a watermark, a visible watermark that says Terry White if I want, or whatever I want it to say. I can choose the image quality that I want to export it out. And I can even size it down. So I can either just quickly grab a 2048 pixel wide image, or I could specify on the longest edge what dimensions I wanted. So let's say I was going to Instagram. Instagram typically wants a 1080 on the longest edge. So I could just make that image exactly what I needed it to be for the export. So with that said, this is all the cool stuff you can do now that you can bring these images in. And by the way, it gave me the ability to tell it where to put that. Now that I got all these cool capabilities, I can do this on the go. I no longer have to think about, if I really want to work on the images, I'm going to have to bring my MacBook. Nope, I just bring an iPad and go from there. All right, what happens if you don't have sufficient space on Creative Cloud? It doesn't sync. It's like anything else. What happens if you don't have enough space on your hard drive? Can't save. So sufficient space, if you don't have enough storage on your device, can't import. Sufficient space is sufficient space. There's no way to break that rule. Either you have a room or you don't. So if you don't have sufficient space and you do want to do all this syncing of raw files, then it might be time to upgrade your space. If not, you can just do it locally. Just making sure I did not see anything else. I've had nothing but problems with the Lightning adapters. I'm thinking about upgrading to the iPad Pro for USB-C. USB-C rocks. And I'll be the first to say it. I can't wait till they ditch the Lightning port on the iPhone and switch everything to USB-C. They've already done it on the MacBooks. They've already done it on the iPad Pro. The only things left are other iPads and the iPhones. I know there's a ton of Lightning stuff out there, and you've got a million cables and a million docks and things like that. But that transition is going to happen sooner or later. I'd rather just get it started now and not wait. But anyway, you got that too. All right, so got to get rid of their reflection too. I don't have to. I'm okay with their reflection, but I could get rid of it. Yeah, because kind of like, I see what you mean. It's the top of their heads. It's not all of them. So yeah, I might get rid of that. What else? Did I miss anything else? Just trying to make sure I got all your comments before I go. Okay, answered that one. Lots of hellos. Hellos from all over the world. Switzerland, New Zealand, Cape Town. Everybody's in the house. Can the watermark be, I thought I saw something that said, can the watermark be applied to a ping file? Yes, it can be applied to, I think, pretty much anything you export. Minimum requirement for iPad Pro storage. There's no minimum requirements, just it boils down to what you're going to import. So this is the 1 terabyte version, because I like to import a lot of stuff. But it's up to you. You can go with the 256. You can go with whatever the smallest one is, provided you know that's going to be your limitation. So it's really, you decide what the minimum is going to be. We don't really have a minimum because it's up to you. Like, for example, if you only shoot JPEGs, then you don't require nearly as much space as someone shooting RAW. So the person that shoots the RAW and want to import all their RAW files is going to need more space than the person that just shoots JPEG and just want to import all their JPEGs. So that storage question, that is really totally up to you. All right. I think I got everything. right. Great to see the folks over on LinkedIn as well. And with that said, that's it for today. So if you want to stick around, well, not stick around here because I'm going to be gone. But if you want to catch me, I'm going to also be a guest on The Grid today. The Grid Live is the show over on Kelby One. So if you want to check that out, I'll be there today talking about gear. But with that said, that's pretty much it. Go update Lightroom right now if you haven't already for phone, iPad. And if you need an adapter to start bringing your stuff in, like I said, Apple sells them for Lightning. There's a million ones for USB-C if you have a USB-C device. And away you go. So with that said, I want to just thank everyone for catching me on my slow back into information. It was a blast showing you guys the new Lightroom. I'm so glad this feature is here because this will, like I said, I won't have to think I have to bring a laptop because I want to import stuff and look at it. Now I can just bring my iPad, import stuff and look at it and actually work on it and know that when I'm done, that stuff syncs back to my desktop. All right. So with that said, everyone, thanks for watching, and we will see you on the next one tomorrow on these same channels. And I will also stream on Behance, I believe, as well. I'm going to show you some stuff tomorrow. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.